Hello guys and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me Vulcan. Today I have for you a 2 versus 2 on Colleville, and today I'm playing the 716th Infantry Division and I'm playing again with Faust, who's playing the Panzer Division. And in this one it's a 2 versus 2 ranked once again. So we're back on the rank ladder, myself and Faust, and we're playing against BjnGPkZDhkiE and Shark S. So yeah, this was a game that I wanted to show you guys mainly because of just sort of the strategy we used and the way it worked out, which was kind of not stereotypical to the decks we're using. However, there is some other things I just wanted to mention. I know some of you guys have been asking for the 3rd Armoured American Division, the Panzer again, the VulcanHDGaming Division, and the 116th Infantry Division. I'm going to be making videos on those as soon as I can. I need to still play the games, of course, so I'll probably spend a day just like playing through all of the decks that you guys want me to play, and then I'll record like a bunch of videos around those and release them in the next few days. So that's probably what this week's going to be comprised of, is 116th Windhund, Panzer, the 3rd Armoured, and the VulcanHDGaming Division. So look out for those videos this week. By the way, let's jump back into this gameplay. I know it's very similar to the last one that I showed you guys, in that myself and Faust are using exactly the same divisions, but we're playing against two potentially extremely hard divisions for these decks. So if I go to my perspective, I'll start to talk about what we had planned here. So we're playing against the 101st and 6th Airborne decks. That's 6th Airborne provides massive off-map artillery in Phase A, and the 101st then has massive off-map artillery in Phase B. So there is sort of a time limit based around what opponents we bump into, especially on my side of things, because the infantry division, the 716th Infantry, can get demolished by off-map artillery, heavy off-map artillery, in the early game. So I've got to be really careful that I'm not actually up against the 6th Airborne. We won't know which one's going where though, so we just got to kind of take a guess. So I take the right town just because it's easier for me to sort of push up and secure. Then what's going to happen over on the left side is Faust's just going to play defensive, like just hold these bottom buildings, and then he can sort of spread his fire support around down here and just keep the bottom side of the town secure, because he doesn't have that much infantry availability to be able to push through the town, whereas on my side I can secure the top of the town and then move over and give him a hand, or I can push over on this side, or he can help me push on the right side, whatever happens throughout the game. But either way, what I'm going to be doing in this one is actually providing Faust with a couple of IG-18s, and that's going to support his Panzer Grenadiers and the MG42 in just securing a couple buildings here, and then yeah, the fire support, like I was saying, fire support back here, 1,000 meter range, up the road or into these buildings. We can do a lot of damage, so that's what we're doing. And then what he's also going to do is send some Pumas alongside two 341s and Panzer Grenadier and an MG42 to the center of the map. So he's actually going for like a center push through the middle of the towns, see if we can make some ground there at the start. Over on the right side, my start's pretty standard. It's a lot of Ostrupen with the MG42s, and then I've got PaK 37s and IG-18s. So what basically is the plan is I'll move these MG42s up into, say, this building, because this building has a really nice line of sight all the way down the road and can engage with its MG42 to any infantry on the right side at least. And then I'm going to be using my other MG42 in another building to, again, shoot down the roads. So that's basically the plan. And once we get the orders done, I will show you once the game starts. So if I just speed it up, the deployment took quite a while because myself and Faust were talking through our strategy, and our opponents were nice enough not to start the game too soon. So I've also got a Panzer B2 at the start as well. This is actually pretty risky, but because I'm in a town, I'm pretty happy that this isn't going to get hit by an AT gun, and if it is, then what's going to happen is the AT gun's going to be on the road. Pretty easy for my B2 to actually engage itself alongside the MG42s and so on, so I would be able to pin that down. But that basically means that the Panzer B2 is going to be there to give me a good hand. So yeah, got the MG42 here. This one's going into the corner building. That's a really good one because it has a line of sight across this terrain here alongside the road, and then this one's covering the road. So yeah, these two MG42s got to be in the right place. Also dropped off a mortar that's going to be smoking my advance, just to make sure that I can get all these units into the buildings without him unloading first. My opponent's actually going to come up here with the WC-45s, and I'm going to be forced to unload my Ostrupen a bit early, but basically what's going to happen is these airborne rifles are going to get pinned down in the open by the Ostrupen and the MG34, and that's going to be them pinned down and destroyed, so that was really nice. So these are actually MG34s, not MG42s, my bad, but over on this right side, these Ostrupen getting destroyed by the airborne rifles at close range. That's pretty much always going to happen. And then I have some mortar fire coming in from my own mortar just to give us a hand. So at that close range, this is basically really hard for my Ostrupen to do any damage. But I still have my Panzer B2 here, and you can see that's it providing its 9 HE power onto the Pathfinder squad now, and this mortar's actually set this building alight, which stopped those airborne rifles from occupying it. Over on this side, the Pathfinder's engaging my MG34. And then on the right side I've got a Pak 37 and an Ostrupen just holding the line there. Got plenty more infantry coming up. This is 4 units of Ostrupen and a command infantry. Because what I actually did was completely forget to bring in a command infantry at the beginning of the game, which was a really big mistake, honestly. Don't ever forget your command infantry, because basically it means that they could have ran like a APC or something at me and made all my units surrender, when if you have a command unit nearby, panicked units can't surrender. By the way, here M1 Howitzer is actually engaging Faust's 2, 3, 4, 1s, and he's got to be careful about that because the Howitzers do have 8 AP. There's also an M3 gun to the back of the town, and that's hitting his recon units very much so at the moment. So he's got to get those out of there, but he's definitely penetrated the center of the map. He's got his Puma and all of these half-tracks and so on engaging these Pathfinders, ripping them to shreds. My IG-18s are in position here, and basically what he's doing is using these half-tracks alongside the 2 squads that he has to hold the left side. That's pretty much what's going on over there. Over on the right side, my Panzer B2 is just providing that covering fire that I was mentioning before. I do finally get my Grenadier here, so I've got the extra veterancy, which is ideal, especially considering I've brought in some more Ostrupen. Another game tick, and that's even more Ostrupen on the way. And this is pretty much why I am countered by heavy off-map artillery early on, because I'm going to be spamming a lot of Ostrupen. But fortunately for me, I actually ended up playing against the 101st Airborne player, which is actually really big in this scenario. I was very happy that I ended up against the 101st Airborne player as the 716th Infantry, because I felt like I had a chance to push through the town before the 101st Airborne got access to their off-map artillery. So in this scenario, what should have probably happened is their team should have used the 6th Airborne off-map artillery on the largest concentration of infantry that they knew about. So if they were on voice communications at this point, what they should have done is got the 6th Airborne off-map to come over to my side and blow the crap out of all this infantry that's really highly concentrated. But I was pretty confident that that wasn't going to happen. And up here you can actually see these Ostrupen engaging a 50 cal. I actually fast moved the Ostrupen all the way up the road here, unload them really far up, and that's basically just to gain me some ground there and make it difficult for them to get reinforcing infantry down towards these airborne rifles on the right side. Now I was going to move this B2 over like down here where my mouse is going, but you can see that that's nearly in 200 meter range of the bazooka of the airborne rifles, so I decided to move him down the road covered by all this infantry instead, and that's going to allow me to start to engage these airborne rifles with the 2 guns on the B2. These Ostrupen are engaging the 30 cal machine gun up here, and well, we've already pinned down these airborne rifles and I'm smashing them to pieces nicely. My Ostrupen are pushed up on the right side a little bit more, and I've got another couple squads joining me. This Pak 37 should have definitely been moving up a lot sooner, but I completely forgot about it. And this mortar also could have been providing some fire support here, so that's another little mistake. But at the moment, I'm pretty much just relying on my B2 micro to make some ground here. That B2 is slowly moving up to try and get line of sight onto these airborne rifles. And there we go. He's managed to get on line of sight. He's actually firing through the middle of this building just here to be able to hit that airborne rifle squad. And you can see just how quickly the B2 does destroy the airborne rifles. So over on this left side, I reinforced with some more Osttruppen as well to help Faustout hold the bottom side of this town. And my IG-18s are going to work on the airborne paras. So now just continuing to move forwards, I've got rid of the infantry on this right side, and now I just need to break through the top of the town before the off-map artillery comes in. Otherwise, I'm going to be in a bit of trouble. So what I've decided to do is bring in some IG-18s to support my advance. Now I've actually secured the center of the town, I can basically deploy like IG-18s on the right and on the left, and they can fire into the town against these like 50 cals and all the other stuff that's causing me a little bit of issue. So my B2 is moving up now, and that's going to be engaging the 50 cal. As long as I can pin that down, I can save my IG-18 here, so that was the plan. Bomber does come in, that's the Mosquito Pathfinder there with the napalm. And as you can see, what it does is force my Grunführer and the MG34 outside of the buildings. And I actually got a bit complacent because I thought that they wouldn't die. They are in those little like areas where the flames aren't directly on top of them, but you have to be careful because napalm can like basically have an almost AoE effect where it kills units nearby. And so in this case, what ends up happening eventually is both of the squads die out. So this 30 cal is really trying to take out this IG-18. As long as I can keep them pinned down, IG-18 should be able to get out alive. My mortar's moving up, and that's going to be providing some covering fire. Got my Osttruppen at the top of the town here now, supported by this Panzer B2, and they can destroy these airborne rifles with that fire support available. Got the IG-18 here as well. That's also going to be helping by firing into the forest there. So really demolishing this infantry on the right side, and another IG-18 again on the far right is now going to pin down this 50 caliber machine gun. So really making a lot of ground, and in the center, Faust's initial push with all of his recon vehicles is still kind of holding. So we're currently running a +2 with 58% territory lead now. IG-18's moving over to the left side, that's to cover off against these airborne Vickers, and this IG-18 here has already fired 17 rounds, so that's been doing work as well. Just continuously going to move up my infantry here. Don't mind if it's pinned down, as long as I have targets from a Panzer V2 and the IG-18. He's actually going to fall back there, which is fine because I can just move up my infantry and make more ground. Moving my mortar out the way because it's taking some counter battery. And yeah, got some Osttruppen moving up on the right side as well. So I'm well over halfway on my side of things now in this town, which is great. And I'm moving up my Panzer V2 to help us deal with the 50 caliber machine gun again. Now it's time to just get rid of that. You can see the 9HE power gun there on the front, just demolishing that 50 cal. And then we can do the same to the Pathfinder. The Pathfinder doesn't have a bazooka, so I'm pretty safe to literally just drive towards that and destroy it. But first of all, I can destroy this howitzer, and as you can see, straight up shot with the main gun, shot with the 9HE power, and job done. Now on this road, I've already got mortar fire coming in here. I literally preemptively mortared this road so that any reinforcements coming down here would get caught out in the open, and that's exactly what happened. They're actually going to smoke that. Actually, I think I accidentally smoked it myself. I think that's what ended up happening, which is kind of ridiculous. But either way, it kind of blocks the line of fire onto my own Osttruppen anyway, so it wasn't so bad. But it does block the line of sight on the IG-18 as well. By the way, this IG-18 is going to be saving the Osttruppen here on its right side. But I don't want them to surrender, so I should be falling them back as soon as they get hit. My Panzer B2, this actually rolls up with attack move and accidentally gets taken out by the Pathfinders that I was mentioning earlier. And that was a big mistake. It's just generic sort of thing that happens with attack move is you put an attack move command and you're looking elsewhere on the map, and then like the unit you are firing at, like especially infantry, goes in like into hiding again, and then your tank rolls up next to it and gets into range of its AT weapon because it's not holding the fire. What I should have been doing is moving forwards the Osttruppen into the next building before I moved the B2 forwards, and then it would have been safer because the Osttruppen would have revealed the Pathfinders and stopped that from happening. Either way, still managing to contain the reinforcements coming up here, and I've got to the top side of the town. So we've moved into Phase B, and this is where I'm expecting to see off-map artillery basically as soon as possible. Over on this left side, a lot of my infantry has been taken out, and you can see this has been hit pretty hard by Faust's Panzerwerfer. BjnGPkZDhkiE still moving around the left side. This one is still alive here as well. I'm bringing up another Panzer B2, and I'm bringing up a Flak 88 for the far right side. If I can get this Flak 88 into the corner of this orchard, what I can do is have it fire at any reinforcements coming down this road, which really gives me a good advantage. So I've got my mortar firing away at the Pathfinders there briefly, and the Panzer V2 is now on line of sight. I'm not going to let that happen again, so basically just need to kill off the Pathfinders, and we shall continue on down the road. I want to get out of this town before the off-map hits me, but as you can see, off-map comes in right on cue. We've reached Phase B. But this is actually okay. I mean, it looks like it killed a lot there, but it's actually okay because I have this B2 and my reinforcing infantry didn't actually get caught up in it, so the timing of my reinforcing infantry was perfect here. The Italian infantry coming up to take the ground that the Osttruppen previously held. Furthermore, a couple of my Osttruppen squads actually survived, so that's really helpful. And yeah, the Panzer B2 stops anything coming down this road, so really doing well. And over on this right side, the Flak 88's arrived, so that's going to be unloaded soon, and I'll have that fire at reinforcements coming down the road. So here comes my Italian infantry. That's going to be unloading into this building here, just to control that left side road. And now the only road that's really a threat is the centre road. Over on this left side, still losing some Osttruppen here and there. IG-18 is being pinned down by the airborne sniper, and I'm going to try and retreat away from that. Off-map artillery is going to come in onto my Osttruppen there, but only one squad going to get caught out by that. That's absolutely fine. I also have a Flammpanzer B2 that's come up now as well, and again, this is great because I've just been hit by another off-map artillery strike, but they're not going to destroy these tanks with off-map, so I'm relying more on my tanks moving into Phase B than I am on my infantry. I'm just trying to keep my infantry safe where I can as well, and since all of my fire support's so spread out now, you see I've got this big old like sort of C happening that goes all the way around the bottom, like a... And basically that means that they're going to have to put artillery strikes on all of these different fire support positions in order to stop me from killing them all as they try and advance towards the town. And here, well, Flammpanzer B2 is just running forwards, just suiciding. I was hoping that he would actually hit these Pathfinders, but the Pathfinders there eventually get destroyed by this IG-18. It was incredibly risky, but the Flammpanzer B2 eventually doing the job. Completely suicide charged. I wanted to get out of this town before another off-map hit me and bring up an IG-33. It gets absolutely destroyed immediately. Over on the left side, we've got an engagement going on. Thunderbolt actually gets shot down, and we've got a couple of ME-109s and the Focke-Wulf 190 coming in to take out a Tempest. So we're winning the air war over on the left side as well. Myself and Faust were communicating to make that happen. My IG-18 on the left side is being killed, but Osttruppen still holding the front line here. And, well, since we are up to +3 with 65% territory lead and the off-map wasn't really doing enough, our opponents do eventually surrender. And as Faust was breaking through in the middle there, the game ends. And, well, after only 15 minutes of gameplay, the game comes to an end. And basically this was just a game that I really wanted to show you guys because it shows good counterplay to the decks you're playing against. So At the beginning of the game, I was discussing about there being a 6th Airborne and a 101st. The 6th Airborne player, if I was playing against the 6th Airborne on my right side, then what I would have done is invested in more tanks early on. But because I was playing against the 101st, I went all in with the infantry early on, alongside one B2 and some IG-18s and so on, to push them out of the town early enough for me to not be affected so badly by the off-map. Then I timed my infantry so that after about 2 minutes of being in phase B, the off-map came in. Then I was pretty safe to bring in my Italian infantry, brought that in, reinforced the positions that previously got destroyed. And then what I did was invest in more tanks after the off-map was basically shown. And that allowed me to finish off our opponents. Now, there was that little bit of a mistake with the mortar using smoke rounds instead of normal rounds, which was, yeah, not the best play in the world. But either way, it didn't end up mattering by the end of that, because I had enough IG-18s in position alongside the Flak 88s and so on in order to finish off the game. And that's pretty much it. So if we go to the team perspective, we can see that I did actually still lose quite a lot of men. Like 720 losses is actually quite a lot. I did lose a B2 for free against the Pathfinders. I almost lost the Flampanzer B2 as well to the same Pathfinder squad, but fortunately the IG-18 had my back. So yeah, a little bit of miss micro with those B2s towards the end there. You really need to keep them alive, especially with how I build my deck. I don't actually have many of those B2s available moving into the later stages of the game. But either way, yeah, got the 1,085 kills. Faust did a great job with his Panzer deck, especially considering we didn't even get into late phase B and C. It's 915 kills to 515 losses. Working with the units he had really did a good job, and props to our opponents as well. If we jump into the kills, we can see that this naval battery did take out quite a lot of troops, but these are just Osttruppen. And moving into phase B, I'm just going to be reinforcing with this Italian infantry, which they did kill one squad of. The artillery came directly down on top of one of my IG-33s, which was unfortunate, but either way, didn't really matter in the end. They also brought in a second naval battery, but I was just overrunning him on the ground, and at that point, spending like 160 points to bring in off-map artillery wasn't ideal when he could have been buying, you know, 4 or 5 infantry squads to reinforce that town. So yeah, in terms of losses, well, my Panzer B2 went ham onto the opposing infantry there during the early game, so that worked out really well for me. And you can see the majority of my kills are actually due to my IG-18s and the Panzer V2s, as opposed to any particular infantry squad. So there you go. Either way, that's about it for this one. So hopefully you've enjoyed this quite short video, I guess, but I think it definitely had a lot of good tactical analysis available for me to show you guys. So that's why I really wanted to bring it out. So thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.